But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marbles. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory. Hello everybody and welcome to the CVRcade Derny Cup. This is week 1. Now on Tuesday we had the beginning of the CVRcade Solo Cup, and there's just so much money being thrown around for riding CVRcade, gaining points, you know, getting accustomed to riding as an individual. But now we rev up the engines, we oil, you know, bits and pieces here, because now we introduce the element called the Derny. We take the physical riders, combine them with a non-physical rider, a rider riding on their keyboard. We call it the CVRcade Derny Cup. But as always, there's prize money on the line. Today, there's only one zone live and broadcasted, that's Zone K that you're about to watch. Winning team will take home $30. Second team will take $20. Third will take $15. Then you have $10, and you've got $5 for the 15. There's so many riders out on course. It's amazing. I see we've got Team Velocity, Night and Morning have shown up. That's Jeff Rooney and Carl Axel Sander. We have Team Velocity, Haas, and Skillpellen, which I'm probably the only commentator able to pronounce Skillpellen because it's Danish. It means turtle. I like it. You've got, that's Peter and Vibeke. Team Hive, Timothy and Glenn. Team Cycling Hub, Tim and Quinton. Cockmasters is Sebastian and Homer. Terminal Velocity, Beth and Christian Whiteman. There's so many more teams that I need to get the official names off, and one of them, let's go, because recently she was announced as a new coming to Team Hive. Kayla, first of all, congratulations on the new home you found at Team Hive. What's the team name? Because I believe you and Jennifer are teaming up here for the Derny Cup.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit last night and everything. We were kind of bouncing around, but I think it's just going to be the Queen Bees, you know, kind of for the Team Hive, and then Queen Bees since we're on that team as well. So yeah, we're going to be bringing it today.
And there's no looking in amongst the teams, because I see Timothy and Glenn called themselves Team Hive A. Have you had words with the guys about the use of their A behind Team Hive?
I was reading a little bit, but I'm not exactly sure because I know there was conversation back and forth and whatnot. But yeah, definitely going to have to go to Timothy for that one.
Well, now you've got the Derny element. I believe you're the non-physical rider of the day, and Jennifer is riding her bike. Is there a bit of strategy that's going on? What's happening today?
Yeah, definitely. So Jennifer's going to be riding physically. So just really, we've discussed it beforehand. You know, this one is the lower skill event, so it's going to be interesting to see how the physicals play into the keyboard. But definitely a lot of strategy going forward with the different power-ups and seeing how you execute those, and helping that physical rider from the keyboard expected. So I'm excited to see how this plays out today, and hopefully the practice is going to help.
That makes you and me both, Kayla. Let's see who else is in the broadcast today. We've got Carl Axel Sander, who's in here. That's Team Night and Morning with Jeff Rooney and Carl Axel Sander. You can see Carl trying to get matching kit on. Of course, we'll relay that one to the team, whether or not it is matching, but I don't see the velocity anywhere near the stomach, so we'll let the team get on with that one. We've got Team Haas and Skillpellen, and the one representing that is Vibeke Bertram. She'll be the non-physical rider, and you can see her sitting down with a new camera angle. We've got Timothy and Glenn making up Team Hive A. Timothy will be on broadcast today. Team Cycling Hub, we've got Tim and Quinton, where Tim will be the rider riding physically. Now, the combined results of the two riders will combine the team's result at the end of the day. So 4 races as we get underway with so many races in here. Combine the results. So your non-physical and your physical rider combine together into one score. The team that scores the highest across all 4 events will go on to be the winning team. We're off to a quick start. I see Quinten, I see Glenn. They're up near the front. We've got Carl, Axel, Sander here in 7th place. This is the low skill event, but look at the amount of comeback kits down in the chasing group. Jennifer Garcia, we've got Badger, we got Sebastian on a keyboard, Beth York also in here. Now she is partnerless in here because Christian Whiteman couldn't make it into the racing, but that doesn't mean she's not out. It just means she scores half the points, which is a massive disadvantage. I see we've got Ben, we got Lantrell, Mutt KG, we've got several riders in the broadcast. Tim Fulford here has made the initial split. 8 riders is up here, and he's got his teammate Quinten Molinese is here, so they look good for the points. Chris Pritchard is in here too. Now, if we look at the pairings, because it's all about your Derny, it's all about your teammate when it comes down to it. You can see top right, 1.4 kilometers remain here. You've got Team Cycling Hub with 2 riders up here. You've got Cockmasters only with Homer. You've got Team Haas and Skillpound only with Peter. You've got Team Hive A with Glenn just on the back trying to get on here. This is the low skill event. Only a one-time scoring multiplier. You get your comeback kit, but it is just such a quick race. Look at Glenn on his keyboard, pressing as quick as he possibly can. Now, he is not fatiguing from his heart, but he is fatiguing from his finger. Now, I do believe the rules state you need a heart rate monitor, and I think that might also apply to a non-physical rider. I think we're gonna see what's happening. I'm not sure. Timothy says no, but I don't know. The rules, I haven't read them that in depth, but I'm just thinking out loud because we had Tuesday's rule book being opened wide open, and you went to page 64 and you looked at paragraph 3, section 2, line 1, letter 3 to come to a conclusion. We'll see. Quinten is in here in the race. We got Casey in the broadcast, crucial ball as well. 500 meters remain. Will it be the keyboard right? You can see Tim talking to his Derny. He's talking to Quinten in here. As Jennifer has been spat out the back. She is way down in 20th place, and she will not be a threat coming into the sprint finish. 200 meters. It's coming up quicker than you can imagine. Peter Kastrup on the front. Carl Axel Sander is second. It is Velocity, Haas, and Skillpen with Peter in first. Night and day, Carl in second, but Team Hive, we're going to need the photo finish. No, low skill event. I am not certain who took it here. As we can see, Homer Thompson coming across the line. Scoreboard hasn't updated yet for me just as I'm looking at it. Still looking at the scoreboard. We'll wait and see if that's the same for anybody else out there. So we'll give you the official results as soon as we have them. Of course, you can see Sebastian not looking too happy with the performance of the first race, but there is a few more left. I do see Casey mentioning the in the chat that we need a riders list. We do have the ability to toggle the nearby riders list when necessary, so don't worry, it's not completely gone. We just wanted to clean up the look on the screen so the information is readily at your fingertips, but not clocking up your view. So we'll see here what happens as the sprint finish is coming up again. Timothy, Carl, Peter, Tim and Quinten on the keyboard as well were moving around. Chris Pritchard was in there, but despite being a very strong sprinter, he just lacked a bit of the punch in the end. We'll see what's happened. I'm still awaiting confirmation, but I guess we'll get a word with, I think it was Carl who looked like who just crossed across the line there. We'll see. Carl, our scoreboard doesn't seem to be updating. Carl, do you have an update from your end in the game?
Oh, I think I saw I was fourth, actually. I think I was clear for second, so I stopped pedaling when with like 50 meters to go. So yeah, I was fourth.
Oh,
two guys that came up behind me got before me, I think.
I like the attempt of the matching jersey here. Can you talk me through the thought process from like you going out, going, how do I get the velocity? Like, is that pinned on there? Is that glued on there? How is the logo on there?
No, it's race pin. I think I should almost get 5 extra points for actually, putting something on with pins before the race. No, we just fun thing, pick up a basic orange jersey and, you know, printing the logo and putting it on. But I guess just, you know, got no expectation, just another thing, you know, to challenge the rule books, you know, to find out what the actual rules
Carl,
is. So,
I
yeah,
think
we'll
the
see if it works.
commissioners are just looking at you thinking, what are you doing to us? First it's the heart rate, now it's the matching kit with the bit numbers. I like
That's
it.
fun.
Now, Jeff and you are a team here. You've got Team Night and Day. Have you been thinking strategy? Because this is the first time we ever have sanctioned racing between a non-physical rider and a physical rider.
Oh yes, we was actually on a half an hour before today and was practicing this course coming up now, the New York City, and also the next one. So yeah, we have quite a few ideas. Yeah, no, it demands a bit of practice because, you know, keyboard riders, you know, they're strong at riding, you know, at threshold speed for a long time, but you're not very good at, you know, the 30-second, the 1 minute power. So, you know, you have to think how you can, you know, utilize both advantages so you can go into breakaways and, you know, work together and that kind of stuff. So yeah, we got some ideas. You will see.
I'm excited. I'm expecting big things. Velocity have done great in the past when it comes to team racing. Let's go and hear from Timothy and Glenn. Team Hive A, the sister team to Queen B. Timothy, first of all, you get to ride with Glenn. All the practice that you guys have put in, is it satisfying that now is your chance to show what you've got?
Oh yeah, well we're just having fun here. He's actually a bit more nervous than me, but it's fine.
What do you tell him to calm down his
fun.
nerves?
I just tell him to have fun, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've known him for a long time. I know what works and what doesn't.
Well, you heard from Kayla and Jennifer earlier. Now,
Yeah.
Team Hive A.
Yeah,
Is there
that
a
was
bit of
early
hierarchy?
on. That was not like a name. That was just so I could quickly register for the Derny League. We're going with the Hive Hornets.
The Queen Bee and Hive Hornets. I mean, if you're looking for marketing, you know, material, that's where you go. Timothy, good luck here in Cityscape,
Cheers,
New
man.
York. Coming up next, of course, is 3 laps of racing. I want to get a quick word as well with somebody that I'm expecting big things from here. The Team Cycling Hub coming together here because Quinton Molyneux on a keyboard. From what we saw in the CVRcade World Cup Season 1 after party, this guy knows how to rumble when it comes to keyboard racing. Tim, I know you like to practice. What's the mood like in the team bus with you and Quinton?
Yeah, it's all good. Quinton's just got to put a heart rate monitor on and it came up at like 150, so he's clearly feeling the stress of that keyboard and pushing all those buttons. I honestly missed that final sprint. Dug pretty deep to get where I got, so a bit of a mistake. I was concentrating on who was going off the back rather than who was up front and how many laps were left, but I haven't got a scoreboard, so it looks like it's just going to be smash 4 omniums as hard as possible and see what happens.
Yeah, that is something we'll look to see here. But now, 50 seconds to go. Cityscape coming up. I'll let you get back to it and we'll see what's going to happen. We are going to go to the riders in the racing. It's something we introduced more in Tuesday's racing in the Solo Cup. This is something we'll look to do more going forward. Now, in the Solo Cup on Tuesday, I may have been guilty of going to Vibeke or to Beth or to Jeff or a few when they were at like 205, 200 heart rate. I can promise you I won't do that going forward, but I will come to you during the racing to get a bit of feedback, especially here as we're riding physical and non-physical. On the screen currently, you see Cameron Jeffers, the winner of the Team League, the very first ever Team League on CVRcade. Now he's back. He's teaming up with Chris Pritchard. I see we've got a keyboard rider in here as well. I saw Jay Diss. Jay Diss on a controller is in the racing. Oh, this is going to be interesting. On a controller off the front here. This is a viewer watching the stream, getting into the racing. As you see, the start has been given. We got 4 power-ups across 3 laps. And Jeff Rooney on his keyboard. This is night and day for velocity. Jeff and Carl trying to break away. You also got Carl sitting there on Vibeke's wheel. So Derny versus Derny. Also Frank Garcia is getting in the action. And as you can see, Let's see, Vibeke, you look to be very amused currently here. What's the situation for Haas and Skilpeln?
Oh, this is great fun. I had some issues on the first course, so I didn't complete that one, unfortunately. So I hope to do much better on this race, definitely.
Is it nicer to be sitting down now instead of being on the bike, you know, really ending yourself?
Well, it's not that warm, actually. I'm freezing a bit. So might work on a warmer jersey for next time.
I like the dedication for the matching kit, but we'll let you get back and see if you can warm yourself up, because we have an attack in the racing. Badger has gone off the front. Now, Badger is a late coming to the racing here, and he's teaming up with none other than Frank Garcia as his Derny. These two could be lethal as a duo, but we'll see. There's a 7-kilometer-an-hour wind out on course, and if we bring up currently the full riders nearby list, you will see this is currently the top 14 out on the track. You got an attack here. Frank Garcia, Badger. They've got Racer's Edge and Wind at the back, but they don't go. They both go down together. Oh, that is legendary. They attempted an attack, but there is no one crashable, and so they both slide right into the barriers. Now, on the front of the racing here, you've got Tim Fulford, you got Jeff, you got Vibeke, you got Timothy. This is the sort of racing that, with keyboards, we've never really seen what's going to happen. Half the riders in here, as Chris goes down, Chris Pritchard, Cameron Jeffers, they are both down here in the corner, and Chris Pritchard in the Cycling Hub kit gets passed by Beth York of Velocity, Terminal Velocity here with Christian Weidman. So it could be all good nights for Cameron Jeffers and Chris Pritchard. And Badger has gone down as well again at the back, so it's not optimal racing for them just yet, but they've got to get everything fine-tuned, of course. Now, there is a prize purse. We are racing for money. There is $30 for the winning team here, so there is incentive, you get bonus points, you get all these sort of things ramping up towards the seeding for the grand finale. As you can see, Carl Axel Sander has reached across here to his Derny. So you've got two riders off the front, and they're both on the same team. And this means more than ever. This means so much more now here in the Derny Cup, because their points tally together. Carl and Jeff, they will score points here on the 2.5 scoring multiplier, Cityscape New York. And their points, now if you get first, that's amazing. If you get second, even better, because you take up the maximum amount of points available. But when somebody smells an attack, there's one person right on their wheel. That is Tim Fulford, as you can see here in the side-by-side. Carl on the left with his pinned on logo, which is amazing. Let's see. Tim's at 187. He's just bridged to the front here. We'll see. We'll just let him catch his breath for a second as he's shaking his head. What's going on here, Tim? What are you not happy about?
It's not that I'm not happy, but why is the physical rider in front of the keyboard rider?
They're saving the fatigue, Tim.
That's an interesting Derny combination. But yeah, Carl hasn't got his RXO, which is a shame. But yeah, group's back up now, so we'll see what happens.
We'll let you get back into it. Thanks for your time, Tim. We'll go on the other side here and talk to the other Timothy in a second, because he's also just gotten back, and now Glenn and Timothy has come to the front here. Timothy, this is where we know you've been practicing. Glenn's nerves, are they starting to become your nerves too?
Nah, I'm cool. He just got back to the group, so yeah, he's already pulling. What a guy, what a legend.
He's pulling the other keyboard rider in the front, so there seems to be some Skynet.
He's pulling the group.
Thanks, Timothy. This is really speeding up here as Vibeke, Glenn, and Quinton all hitting the front group here, going on and trying to stretching out the group. And you can really see the echelon being formed here as Homer Thompson at the back of the group is just hanging on. So the wind, 7 kilometers an hour, is coming from a cross tailwind from the right here. So if you're up towards the left, you will be getting that bit of drafting as we're going to see the riders attack. We do have Mark KG saying keyboard riding seems hard, looks harder than it seems. teams, it takes a lot of practice, and I tend to agree that it's something that you just need hours, and someone like Nigel Doyle has had so many hours in this as a keyboard writer. But watch out, Timothy Tamont, Glenn have gone to the front here. This is the Hive Hornets, as they like to be called, have gone onto the offensive here. But what is very interesting, what Tim mentioned before is, oh, you gotta be interesting. You got Tim is putting Glenn up against the barriers here. Glenn is on his keyboard and Timothy's breaking away. What's gonna happen here? 6.5 kilometers remain out on the track currently, and we're gonna see the two riders side by side. Timothy Tamont, king of the bottom left-hand corner here, member of the Hive Hornets, as he sits back up here. He's gone on to the attack. We look over his shoulder, and the group is right there, and they're coming back quickly. And what you'll notice is, once you're away here, the other riders behind you, they're at 50 kilometers an hour, and they've got keyboard riders. So Timothy does not block Quinton. He moves on over, and he's got to accelerate. So strategies that would work in the Solo Cup, strategies that would work in the World Cup, don't necessarily, transmit and translate here into the Derny Cup. Because you've got riders who are on their butts. They're riding. Quinton right now. He's got his crisps. He's got his Coke. He's got his music going on. We've even got Sebastian down in 10th as well, who we can show you exactly what's happening here. Sepp, you seem to be... Are you listening to music, Sepp, or what's happening there?
Yeah, it's a little boring here at the end of the field, but my keyboard is too slow.
You need to tell the keyboard to go quicker.
Yeah, I'm pressing, but nothing happens.
Well, what's the secret? You've got power-ups. Do you have anyone left?
Oh, I got power-ups. Oh.
Oh, I love this. Sepp, we'll let you get back in on the key concentration as I can't... Oh, just in the corner of my eye. You didn't see it on the riders nearby list, but Badger and Frank, once again, down in 18th and 19th, are having an absolute mare of a race. They're trying to get synced up, but in the corner, sliding on out, coming on through. They're riding with Jennifer Garcia as well, but second collective pile-up here. As on the front, Vibeke is upping the intensity, as you can see here, really utilizing her power-ups to their maximum potential as she moves to the left. The concentration, that stare could probably cut the icing on the cake right now. She wants to really get home with the points, because this is serious, guys. You can win $30 today to share amongst your team. You can have tomorrow's coffee paid for, tomorrow's breakfast. You can see Homer moving up as well. So many non-physical riders. And now Homer is without his Cockmaster teammate. He's without Sebastian Kuhn, as Jeff and Peter have been dropped as well. The power-ups are Wind at Your Back. It is Quantum Shift, Razor's Edge, and Inertia. If you can time them at the same time and really get a boost, that will change the outcome of the race. Peter forced to use his defensively. We're going to see what happens here. Oh, Aaron with the comment of the day in the chat saying, Sepp looks dead. Well, that is correct, but I think he's the least dead I've ever seen him look. I even saw a smile in there too. I'm not sure. That may have been a malfunction of the device, so I'm not sure if that's the case. But we're coming here to the spicy end. 4.2 kilometers to go. We've got the final lap looming, and we take stock. Homer's here, Carl's here, Vibeke, Timothy, Tim, Quinton, Glenn. I only see 2 full teams in the front group. Now, Jeff is not too far back as we look over the shoulder of Carl Axel Sander. He's right there, but only Quinton and Tim and Timothy and Glenn are up here. So 2 major teams. Now, I'd like to reiterate, we don't have the scoreboard completely showing us the results, but I'm sure we can get somebody at some point to give us an update on the results here, as you've got Timothy and Tim again side by side here. Who's going to go first? Because they've been saving their energy. You got Timothy at 182. You got Tim at 171. As Vibeke is going onto the offensive. She's attacking here off the front on her keyboard. But she needs her teammate. This is where it's touch and go. Vibeke and Peter are on the same team. Their points tally together. And Vibeke here, choosing to attack, choosing not to help her teammate, is saying, right, you know what? If I can take the points in the front, that's going to help negate anything further down. Maybe Peter doesn't have the legs, maybe he's used too many power-ups, and he doesn't feel comfortable with the current situation and sending his teammate up the road. Now this is going to cause reactions in the chasing group, because you got Quinten, who's currently pulling the group. You've got Tim and Carl, both on their physical machines, or physical bikes, riding them with their legs. Quinten is taking his can of oil. He's just, greasing it up. He's polishing it, pressing the plus. Meanwhile, he's taking a crisp, going, yep, that is salt and vinegar. Tastes lovely. So when are they going to attack? Homer sits comfortably here behind Quinten, Tim, and Carl Axel Sander. It's like the lull before the storm. You can just see the twister in the horizon. You can see the tornado, and it's just before it comes in and wrecks your family house. You got everything. Here we go. Glenn and Timothy go on to the attack. This is it. The twister has arrived. The cow has gone up into the sky, flown around. It's going to get thrown right into a building here. Timothy and Glenn, off they go. Timothy, Team Hive Hornets with Glenn. They didn't seem to be that attack didn't sting very much to the rest. That was one they can just kind of brush off, put some water on it. I mean, a mosquito bite probably stung more than that, because Carl Axel Sander is already back here. As you can see, Timothy obviously very, very satisfied with that comment. They do have a gap though. Tim Fulford, as we look over the shoulder of Carl, you see Tim a bit further back, Quinten a bit further back, Homer a bit further back, and we're getting into the pointy end of the long race of the day. I see we got 10 to 10 men in here with some hype in the chat. We got Moti, 32 viewers in here. You guys rock. You're watching the CVRcade Derny Cup. 4 races combined together to form the Omnium, as Carl Axel Sander has used Quantum Shift. He's used Wind at his back. He is loading up the inertia, and there it goes. A power-up combination, as we've got 2 kilometers left of racing here. Carl Axel Sander has got the gap, but he's up against keyboard riders. Tim is going as well with his quantum shift, with his inertia, and so he is trying to follow the move, but it's a 4-second gap. Carl Axel Sander has the opportunity to take maximum points, but his teammate is down in 9th. Meanwhile, Tim, Timothy, Glenn, and Quinten are all battling out in 2nd through 5th. This is where the important points are as well. Carl's taking a lot of points, but he's really going to need the night part of the night and day to come on through. Side by side, Timothy goes on to the attack. He's got inertia this time and uses it at 11 kilometers an hour quicker than Tim Fulford here. And he's going to need to empty himself for the last kilometer to take the maximum points. He's reaching on to Carl Axel Sander. 1 kilometer left. But I would be afraid of Quinten, of Glenn, the keyboard riders. They could potentially come back here. The fatigue, 900 meters. Carl is getting caught. It looks like Tim has just sat up and thought, maybe not for me. What about Carl Axel Sander? He's pinned the number on. 800 meters to go. Just at the top left of your frame, you can see Timothy Tamud creeping into the focus here. His shadow looms on Carl. It looms on the other riders. Oh, there's the racer's edge from Carl Axel Sander. He's been saving it. This is going to be all or nothing for night and day. But don't sleep on Tim Fulford just yet. Tim Fulford has a wind at his back. A 7-second deficit to make up. It's down to 5. It's down to 4. Does he have an inertia? He does not have an inertia. 4 seconds. Could be too much. This is such a hard race. They have given everything. They're in ones and ones and ones. Glenn is coming back too to come over Tim, so we're going to keep an eye on it. Carl Axel Sander is going to win the race, but Jeff is in 10th. So the night and day take the win, but they don't take that many points because Jeff's that far down. 2nd place will go to Timothy Termont here as he's going to come across the line. But the fight for 3rd here, the keyboard rider versus the physical. Skynet this time does not beat the Terminator. Tim Fulford crosses the line there. Quinten Molinez comes over the line next. So Timothy and Glenn take more points away from Team Cycling Hub. But 2 more races remain. Oh my goodness. If we can get an updated scoreboard from the team, that'd be fantastic because this is so close. Carl was up there in the first one. Tim, Timothy, Quinten were up there. Carl, and this one again. I like the Derny Cup. I like it. I think this has really got legs. Peter is next one to finish. We got Badger and Frank as well. Let's see if they can cross, if they can flare the landing, they can put the side up, they can come in, touch ground, and then they can disembark here to the right. They'll mind the gap here as Badger, Frank Garcia cross the line together. Then you've got Cameron Jeffers and Chris Pritchard making a return back, and Chris with an early crash, but he is back in the racing. Let's bring up the highlights because that was a back and forth affair. Carl Axel Sander, Timothy Tamont, Tim Fulford, Quinton Moines, and let's not forget the main man, Glenn the Tank. As that was a race and a half there. I hope you enjoyed that one as well, chat, because we've got 2 more races coming up after this. We've got Dark Matter Spire, 4 laps. We've got Sudden Lane Change as the final decider at the end here. I mean, Lanceral Storm says it nice. I'm just speechless. There's too many riders to cheer for, and I think that is a luxury problem to have. We got Laggy Bandits in the chat as well. Thank you for joining us. You're watching the CVRcade Derny Cup. Real life riders riding their bike. Their teammate on a keyboard, sitting down, writing their physical avatar, writing their avatar non-physically with their keyboard. Winning team takes home $30. Now, if you qualify to the grand finale, the winning team of the grand finale takes home $1,700, $1,700. Now, that's a lot of money. Now, if you want to get on, this is your chance. You can even ride with somebody, and you don't even have to be the one sweating. If you're here on Mixer and you've been watching, you can get on, connect your keyboard, and get riding. We're watching Carl Axel Sander finish off the race against here as Timothy 6 seconds back. Tim was 4 seconds back. Then Glenn was just creeping on back, but the fatigue on the keyboard making the difference. Carl, what an absolute effort you put in. You must be proud of that one.
Yeah, I was. Jeff and I were a bit sad in the beginning because our plan was to do breakaway from the start. Jeff got away on the keyboard, very good, and I was supposed to, put down an all-out first 20 seconds to follow him. Then I got blocked behind Vibeke, I think. So was the plan A was aborted from the beginning, but I tried to stay cool and just sit with the peloton the first 2 laps, and then try the in-harsh attack and hoping it goes, and it went pretty well. Timothy was really close catching up there, but I was happy I was just able to keep him away.
That was an unreal finish. Now, you answered my next question because you and Jeff there, how do you make that decision real time? Because you winning is great, but you need Jeff to finish up high as well.
Yeah. We thought in the race, the best Jeff could do really is trying to stay in the peloton, but the margins are so tiny when you ride a keyboard, because if it comes one fast boost and you're not right onto the wheel there, you can lose it, and you have no chance of coming back. So yeah, it was hard helping him there actually.
Well, Carl, I'll let you catch your breath, because it's always once you win, you get the first interview up and you never really get to breathe. Now, we've seen Tim, we've heard from Timothy, we've heard from Tim. We do have the legend in the chat, the man, the myth, the cycling legend, Homer. That last race there, we saw your Derny, we saw Sepp struggling to get back. What was your experience on Cityscape?
I was just trying to hold on to somebody's wheel. I didn't really have a tactic or anything, just trying to hang on.
Now, I know you're good friends with Sebastian. What's it like having him on a keyboard, helping each other, strategizing? What's that been like?
Well, I think when we get this together, it'll work out real well. I think probably Sebastian should be on the bike and I should be on the keyboard, though. But I think he would do much better on the bike.
Well, we got Sebastian in here. Sebastian, I don't know if you heard that, but Homer thinks you'd be better if you were on the bike and he was on the keyboard. What do you reckon?
No way. No way.
Why not?
Homer has to be on the bike. I can't imagine Homer on a keyboard.
That's why I think it'd be amazing to watch. But I like the judge in you just going, no, this is my verdict. This is the final verdict. That's all that's happening. Sebastian, now this next race coming up, are you going to find some extra power in the keyboard? Have you spoken to it? Have you had a bit of a telling off?
No.
I think you need to go change the batteries.
Yeah. Maybe.
Decision made. Sebastian and Homer, we just heard from them. Next race is coming up soon. 4 laps, Dark Matter Spire. 1 weight lifted, 1 uncrashable, and 1 quantum shift. 3 power-ups in total available. There's a few riders looking to make up for some missteps in the first race. Chris Pritchard, Cameron Jeffers, The Badger, Frank Garcia, Jennifer Garcia, and Kayla Laguna. Can they come in here and be a bit of a wrecking ball and try and change up the dynamic on the front here? Carl, Axel, Sander, and Jeff have been looking good. Glenn and Timothy, the Hive Hornets, Team Cycling Hub with Quinton and Tim have been looking good as well. We look at Carl, Axel, Sander currently. Now, he has been racing hard. You got Badger as well saying Sepp has spoken. Sepp is a man of few words, but is a very, very powerful speaker when he does speak. So saying that he's not been able to find the extra batteries, I think he'll go out and completely repurpose his keyboard once this is over. Quinton has taken the front. Peter Castro had a bit of a mare as well in the previous race. He's in here in third. Tim's moving up. Could Carl Axel Sander be feeling the fatigue from the previous race? That was a humongous effort. That was a really, that took a lot out of him to go solo over the top without a Derny teammate. You start to wonder if anyone's been saving some energy, because the last race, sudden lane change, is where we'll look to see who's really dialed in their keyboarding abilities, because it's no easy task. By the way, Quinton has gone way up the road. Homer has hit this hill in second place currently and is just riding away. He's on the front here. Sebastian's a bit further down. And now Homer, he's trying to make amends. You heard what he said. No real strategy. He's just trying to find a wheel. Now, he does have Tim Fulford next to him. And that is somebody you'd like to be near. But the advantage you have in the Derny Cup is you have a designated teammate who doesn't get physically fatigued. He does get fatigued in the game in terms of the energy meter depleting. But you've got a rider who can lend you that, accessibility and that, you can rest up. Rest is so important. And if you look at Timothy and Glenn here, second and third currently, now, they're not really drafting each other right on the back here, but they're trying to work together to come to the front here and rest up as Quinton has gone on to the attack and has moved on up. If we go down to Carl here, now I don't know if Carl has kept his headphones on currently. No, he has put his headphones over on by the wall, but it would be great to hear how he's feeling. Now, I don't know what the exact rules are of this, but Beth in the racing here, I think she may be helping out Carl here, but they are 2 separate teams. Terminal Velocity with Christian Whiteman, Beth York. You have Team Velocity Night and Day with Jeff and Carl. So this might be something the commissioners will look to, as this is new. The rules are being written, the norms, the precedents are being set, what's respectable or not. Just like the Solo Cup, we listened to the community, the question was put out. Is it supposed to be completely solo? Can the jury come in here and make harsh decisions, or just let it happen naturally? I think the same may come into question here, because you have a Derny. You don't have Dernies. You don't have multiple. But we look to the front here as Carl has moved on up. He's gotten on the wheel of Peter Castrop here. So there's chat. Oh, sorry, Moti. That's a British saying. Nightmare. It's a nightmare. That is what I'm referring to. 7.1 kilometers remain here. And I always think if somebody right now is writing a physical replay and, going through event 1 on Aquavello, event 2, Cityscape New York, event 3 on Dark Matter Spire, and trying to write this while listening to the broadcast, go hard. You can do it. You've got riders to latch on everywhere. There's like 27 riders in this race. If you can just get to the next wheel, then you can latch on and you can go that bit harder. Carl on the left, Tim on the right, the side-by-side screen, and Carl is just down here as he gets blocked by Peter. Peter Castrop, the speed differential there. They're teammates by day, but when it comes to the racing here, no punches get held back. Peter with a block on Carl, bringing down his momentum, forcing him to exert more energy as he comes over the top here. And Timothy has gone on to the attack. Timothy is trying to go with Quinton here, but I reckon Quinton might just stop. This is interesting though, because Quinton is on a keyboard. Quinton currently non-physical up the road. You can see in the little rider score down below the gameplay. He's coming up, and Carl Axel, whatever Carl had for breakfast this morning is just unreal. He's been riding strong. He's coming on through here. We've got 6.1 kilometers remaining. Let's see, we've got Timothy in 4th place. We can get to, make sure by the way to unmute your audio, Timothy. Timothy, you've been trying to bridge across to Quinton. Where is Glenn? Where is the main man?
They used power up, so we're fine.
You've got Timothy saying he's fine. He is a 190. We'll let him catch back down here. We'll go to Tim as well, as he's in the front. Timothy sounds like he's tiring out a tiny bit. Is this where you come into your own?
I don't think I'd come into my own, Jesper, but I didn't use the power up, so legs first, power ups later. But God, this hurts.
Timothy may be seeing things here, as no power-ups were used there, Tim confirms. So maybe Timothy on the edge there, starting to see visions on the screen as things. We go back to Timothy. Timothy's waving his hand. What are you saying, Timothy?
Yeah, I misspoke. I'm sorry. It was just Quinton. Whatever.
Well, Timothy.
I'm at max heart rate pretty much, so...
Max, you're at 186!
Close! Oh, I'm just going to shut up. Go to the next.
Then it goes down to 177. Ladies and gentlemen, Timothy Tamont at max heart rate of 177. If you want to play poker, there's you got it here. So we'll see. Now, Carl Axel Sander is aware of the equalized heart rate here. So we are, of course, in talks and chatting about that. As you can see, Carl on the left. 5 kilometers remaining. We've got a group of 5 on the front. Again, it's the, like, I think what we're seeing right now, the CVRcade Derny Cup, right now from week 1, if you just make it a hot take, looks like it's going to be Team Cycling Hub versus the Hive Hornets, at least in strength right now, with who's really come out and have been gelled until this point, because Glenn and Timothy, Quinton and Tim were in the front. Carl has been amazing, but Jeff is currently down in 14th and just missing out ever so slightly on helping his teammate on the front. Now, there is a second group as well on the road. Cameron Jeffers, Chris Pritchard are creeping back in. They're in 6th and 7th currently, with Peter Castro, Beth York there as well. So we've got Chris, who I believe is currently streaming on YouTube now, right now, or not. Could be, could not be, but he usually does when he writes CVRcade. He's got Cameron on his controller. Once they get dialed in, because Cameron Jeffers is a gamer. He won the team league the first time around we ran it, with Quinton as his teammate and Gus Bauman. Now, in here, with his rider being Chris Pritchard, if they can really get in sync, if they can get the gears lined up, I think they could be a threat going forward. But it's Cameron's first time back. It's Chris's once race a month. Maybe if you can do 2, 3, 4 races a month, he may be able to increase his skills and move on up. There's a power up on the front. Carl Axel Sander with Quantum Shift has gone through the group here, or at least attempted to, but it looks like the Quantum Shift ran out just at the very end. Glenn takes over. Quinton takes over. We're at the halfway point. 3.7 kilometers left as they hit the descent one more time. It goes so quick. I see we got it's Breezy in the chat saying you're all wild. Well, you're wild as well, Breezy. We got Farquhar here. It's good to see everybody returning in here. 32 viewers as always. Thank you so much for making the CVR World Cup Mixer page the best place to be on Mixer. Glenn has increased the pace on the front. Tim is going with it. You can see Tim on the side-by-side screen here. He is putting in a bit of a sneak attack here to bridge across to Glenn, which is going to force a move out. Now, we've yet to see any blocking. We've yet to see any negative racing from the keyboard riders. So far, it's been very sportsmanlike. It's been very fair game from what we've observed so far. Quinton had the option to block Carl Axel Sander, but opted not to. He in fact brought Carl Axel Sander back to the front group, and it must be because he doesn't see him as a threat. He looks towards the overall scoreboard, and they know Glenn and Timothy. Those are the 2 riders you want to get rid of, because Jeff Rooney, the other part of night and day, the night part of the day, is sleeping at the back. He's having nightmares. He's having dreams. He's got his nightcap on. Not sure Jeff Rooney here might need another coffee as he's down in 14th place. To call Axel Sander flying that flag all by his lonesome. But Timothy, are we starting to see the beginning of the end? It's the second to last race of the day. We're coming up to the last lap of Dark Matter Spire. He said he was at his max heart rate, but he was realistically just at 177. When you have that sensation and you're not actually at your max heart rate, your mind gives out before your legs do. So is Timothy, is he going to find it? Is Glenn going to talk some sense into him and try and wake him up for a second rest here? Will the Phoenix rise again, despite them being the Hornets? We will see. But Tim Fulford takes no prisoners. As the physical rider in this group, he's going to make this as tough as he possibly can. And he's got Quinton here. He's, they're both in the audio chat. They're discussing, and Tim goes, attack on the front. Glenn is accelerating. Here we go again as they attack through the top. 2 kilometers left. This is the hill. It's about 2% gradient as they're feeling, and there's the gap. Top left-hand corner. Timothy's gone. Quinton 2 seconds back. Tim wants revenge. He's not happy with the secondary positions on the previous race on CVRcade New York, and now he goes with Glenn. But what does Glenn do? Oh, Carl Axel Sander out of nowhere! Just RKO here. He comes with a weight lifted 30 kilograms lighter for 10 seconds. Tim Fulford has got quantum shift and weight lifted as well. So we see Carl Axel Sander trying to attack. If Tim can bridge the gap, he looks good. But Timothy Tamont is SPAT spat down the back. He's in 4th right now at 1,000 equalized watts, 195. The Hive Hornets need to get on their horses and ride here, and they need to ride quick because the train is leaving. But that being said, Quinton is in 5th. Tim is in 2nd, Carl is in 1st. Right now, Hive Hornets have 3rd and 4th. They need to, this is where the Derny Cup gets so interesting because the scoring multiplier does help the top. Carl has won CVRcade New York. He's on pace here to have a stellar performance in Dark Matter Spire, which is coming to end. You can see Tim's face. We're seeing the facade, we're seeing the face starting to show some suffering here. Is this Carl Axel Sander? Is this the Jedi's, bringing it to the Empire here? Will this be the end of the destroyer that's been Tim Fulford? 800 meters. Tim's on the wheel. He's getting a bit of the draft as Carl moves over saying, come on, go on through, take your turn. But Tim's face, grimacing, hits 700 watts, 600 meters to go. Mixer chat, who do you think is going to win this? Because it is way up in the air from all the teams. Because Glenn and Timothy are coming back too. They're using the Derny abilities. They're 2 seconds back, 3 seconds back. Glenn with a weight lifted, 30 kilograms lighter for 10 seconds. Will this come down to a sprint finish? Or will Carl be able to break Tim? Because there he goes. The Swedish chef, the Viking. He goes off the goaltender. Look at him just throwing down the watts. He's tensing his biceps. His shoulders are in his neck. And Carl Axel Sander on Victory Boulevard. 100 meters to go. 3 second gap. Takes another victory for night and day. Jeff Rooney thinking what could have been. Tim Fulford will take 2nd. He keeps Glenn at bay. Timothy Tamont 4th. Quinton in 5th. Cameron Jeffers. Chris Pritchard coming down in 6th and 7th. Beth York. And we got Frank Garcia, Badger. The Cockmasters with Sebastian and Homer. It looks like Homer may have blown a gasket. Now, I see Timothy. Let's get a quick reaction before we go to the instant replays. Timothy, how are you feeling right now?
I'm dead.
That was your quick
oh,
reaction.
Man. Nah, yeah. It's tough, man. 2 10-kilometer races back to back. It's tough. Like, I feel I've improved quite a bit since last season, but it's not up there yet. But we're out here, we're grinding. We're working on it, so should be fun next race.
Thanks for that, Timothy. Sorry, I just saw you leaned over the bike. I had to get a hot take there. So, Timothy Tamont, thank you for taking the time here. Homer Thompson also comes across the line. That's the 3rd race of the day on Dark Matter Spire. We've got one last left here. We got one lap, one race. Sudden lane change. 4 laps, 1 corner caber, 1 underdog. Now that may change the things for the keyboard riders, because the keyboard riders will struggle somewhat with accelerations. Now that they have the underdog, they may be able to attack through here and try and, you know, speed up their acceleration, because they're holding down the plus button and you can only hold it down so quickly. And so with the underdog getting 50 watts more for every person in front of you for 10 seconds, that can make a massive difference. Coming into the end here, we are of course awaiting the official scores, as we are aware of the current bug that we're trying to get official scores for you guys. But the racing so far, make sure chat, what do you think? What do you think so far of the CVRcade Derny Cup Week 1? Because we've got 7 more weeks of this as Carl Axel Sander crosses the line here. Been phenomenal, the Swedish chef here. Carl, talk to me, because once more, it seemed like you just Houdini. Like you're off the back, then you put your hand down the hat, you pull out a rabbit, and suddenly you're winning.
Yeah, I guess was doing kind of neutral strategy there, just staying in front group to the last lap, and then just doing the weightlifted power up in the last hill, and just hoping, you know. I was happy I got Tim with me there. I thought first he wasn't willing to take a pole, but then he took a pole, and I guess, you know, I think he got second, so I guess we were both quite happy with that at least. I'm impressed by the Glenn and Quentin riding the keyboard, you know, managed to stay with the front group. So some people have to practice. You know that. It's great.
A lot of practice. Thank you, Carl. We'll quickly make the rounds because we only got 3 minutes until the next race begins. Let's go to Tim and hear from him and Quentin, because Tim, that last race is not often we see suffering on your face, but coming onto the finish there, it looked like holding on to Carl was a big task.
Yeah, it was a big task, so I decided not to do it because Jeff is so far down that you have to realise that this is a team race, and the points in those situations drop off quite quickly. So as long as our closest competitors don't mop up the points above us, and those that do have teammates way back, then I don't need to spend those extra matches, because in physical riding, people can get beaten mentally, and therefore you can maybe ease off on the last half lap. But when you've got a keyboard that doesn't fatigue mentally or the human physically, you've got to push all the way to the end. So the aim was to stay ahead of Glenn and far enough ahead of Timothy, and hope Quentin picks up some good points. So yeah, there's a lot of thinking is having to go on at the moment. But it's great racing, and as I just said to Quentin over the team radio, like, I've already achieved supper scores that I wanted to for the whole hour, and we've still got a race left, so it's been a tough hour so far.
Good luck, Tim and Quentin, in this one. I want to get a take from somebody we haven't seen much of today, if Jennifer is still in here. Jennifer, what's your day been like? We saw you in the beginning, and then not much more.
I think something's really messed up with my curve. I'm talking to development right now, but like I was full out sprinting and got like 310 watts. And obviously I've got like 70 for the rest of the races. So I am gonna blame the curve for now, but catch me later and it might be my fault.
How to tell if somebody's a Cade master? First of all, look on their shoulder. Secondly, see if they think their curve is wrong. Well, Jennifer, it's good to have you in here. Hopefully we get you back to strength as we get ready. 1 minute to go, everybody. The final race of the day here in Zone K, CVRcade Derny Cup. The winning team takes home $30. Who is that going to be? I reckon right now, math off the top of my head, it's between Glenn, Timothy, and Quentin and Tim. Team Hive Hornets versus Team Cycling Hub. I can't venture. I think Timothy and Glenn are probably a few points above, but I'm not sure how heavily that Carl Axel Sander has been pulling Team Velocity night and day, because it's definitely a lot brighter right now in Velocity than it is darker. It is midday. It is Midsummer's Day. The sun doesn't go down until very late. Well, we will see. 20 seconds to go. Sudden lane change. It is a very technical track. It requires rhythm, it requires composure, but now we add in keyboard riders. and they can't really accelerate. So it's very important to get out of the front and maintain your speed. We will see what happens because Corner Caper and Underdog are available. Tim Fulford has already hit his intended stress score numbers of the day, and he has one race left here as Carl Axel Sander with an Underdog on the right. He knows that is confidence. He doesn't think, oh, Tim has gone down. Tim has gone down, and that could be it for Team Cycling Hub. Let's go to Tim real quick. Tim, what happened?
Chris went one side, I went the other, and then we came to the same lane at the same time. It kicked us both out, and he got back in. So
I bet you're loving Chris right now in the racing, but we'll see that one back. I'll let you concentrate as you still got a chance to come back. Peter on the front has just used his salvo of power-up combinations with the Underdog and the Corner Caper. Carl, once again, is on the attack, but it is one half of the Badger Garcia Derny team that is chasing him down. It's Frank Garcia on the keyboard, and I know he badly wants to win this race. He wants to try and come on through and take home a big result. He initially wasn't really going to race, but he jumped in here, and now he's racing with the rest of us. So here we go. It's Timothy in 4th, Quinton in 5th, Glenn is there as well. It looks good for the Hive Hornets currently as Cameron Jeffers on the keyboard goes down. Timothy just barely misses the barrier head on. Everyone's moving around. Oh, just to the left there was Sebastian Kuhn as well. But Carl Axel Sander had Weetabix this morning. He had a full continental. He had an English. He had an American. He had Swedish. I don't know. He had all the cooks, all the chefs, all the dishes this morning as he fueled up for the CVRcade Derny Racing. Team Velocity night and day here as Glenn has gone down. Oh, this potentially changes everything because 13 seconds is the gap between Tim and Glenn right now. Tim is down in 13th. How hard is he riding? Does he want to catch back up? Because if he passes Glenn here, they may still very much win the result on the day. I can't wait to see a scoreboard because my mind right now is moving in every direction. As we see Timothy with an Underdog down in 6th place. He'll get 300 watts here for 10 seconds. He passes one. He goes down to 250. He's got to be careful he doesn't slide out. You see Quinton already to the right. And Sebastian has come up here as well as Vibeke crashes. Sebastian on the keyboard. He's still listening to music. Seb, is this going to be the race the Cockmasters are going to win?
Yeah, now I have the right tunes on my headset. And my rider goes.
What's the right tunes?
Ramones Core.
There you go, everybody. The secret sauce as Sebastian is getting caught by Quinton Molinese as we speak. So maybe the song is just about to run out. 3 seconds is the gap. 1 kilometer to go. I mean, the statement that Carl Axel Sander is making today has got me very fired up for the Solo Cup, for the CVRcade World Cup on Saturday as well. But Jeff Rooney down there, I wish we could just go right into New Zealand and get a chat. As Frank Garcia, last ditch effort, he's slamming the plus button like no tomorrow. He's got to be careful. There's bots ahead of him and he dodges it. He goes not once, not twice, but 3 times to the right and he gets out of the way. Big brain move there from Frank Garcia. Now 2 seconds is the gap. He's on a keyboard. He doesn't have much left on the energy meter here as Timothy with the Corner Caper slides right into the barriers. If Tim didn't crash early, if Tim didn't go down that early, right now I think Team Cycling were thinking what could have been on a track that Tim usually does very well on, but for this one, the crash caused by Tim and Chris both going into the same lane, we'll never know. Frank Garcia giving it everything, 200 meters left, Corner Caper, he doesn't slide out anymore in any corner, 100 meters, he is wishing, he is screaming, he's telling it to go quicker, but he will not. For the 3rd time today, possibly could be 4th, we don't actually know the results of the first one, but we get, you know, the fist pump of glory from Carl Axel Sander. The numbers have been pinned on. The results have been saved. Glenn comes on through. I think from initial maths, Hive Hornets look to win, but of course, this is Jesper math. They're not as valuable as Jesper points, so we're just going to have to wait and see for the official race commissioners as it comes through. Tim crosses the line. Homer Thompson, the man, the myth, the cycling legend. Vibeke Bertram had a very hard day today on the bike. She crosses the line next. You see the shake of the head. Kayla as well, out on the track. Thumbs up as... they're trying to solve out that. But that sums up first week of the CVRcade Derny Cup. We've got another 7 weeks of this. And I mean, that was fun. That was seeing the keyboard writers in there. It really changes up the dynamic. Now you really got to be in tune. You heard it from Carl himself. Very impressed with Quinton, with Glenn. Because you saw Sepp, Vibeke, Kayla, Beth. You saw a few down there. You gotta practice. You gotta bring your A game, but let's bring up the instant replay. Here we go. It's the beginning of the race here. Carl Axel Sander used his underdog, and Tim goes down very early. I've got the scoreboard. I have got the scoreboard. Now, this is pending the last result. Oh my goodness. If I think... Carl Axel Sander, this is waiting official results, but I think Carl may single-handedly have won the Derny Cup week 1. We'll wait official results after event 4 comes through, but going into event 3, it was Hive Hornets leading by 13 points on Velocity Night and Day. Then the Velocity Night and Day was 1 point ahead of Cycling Hub. Then there's a big jump down to Cockmasters, but the top 3 in here... We await the official results, but this will be exciting if it's the case. You've got 3 teams all waiting in anticipation here. Who won? What was the official result? Who takes home the $30, the $20, the $15? Everybody takes pretty much some sort of cash home. As the CVRcade Derny Cup is amazing to race, and you should get on. If you've been inspired, get a friend. You can be the one riding physical, non-physical. Just sign up. You sign up through the in-game app. We get the highlights here to the end. You get the fist pump from Carl Axel Sander as he's got the pinned number on here. We see him cross the line. Carl, I mean, what a day you've had. I mean, I can't remember the last time someone had such a strong breakout performance. What clicked today? What was different? Because you weren't just like on your game today with the suffering, but skill-wise, this is probably the best we've seen you.
Yeah, I think it was the first run with no significant mistakes. No, I think the first Omnium without crashes, and I think I nailed the last one. You know, in the sudden lane change I went. My plan was to do the underdog from the start, you know, maybe just get 150 watts more, but just try to get in the front and do the corner caper. So, you know, I would know I would be in the front, and then, you know, I could just settle in and, you know, not needed to go faster than Frank and Quinton was chasing from behind. And yeah, no mistakes. I think it's the key in CVRcade. But, you know, that takes, you got to do 20 or 30 races before, you know, everything, you know, just go automatically.
Now,
something like that.
I would ask you if you're sitting down, but I can see you're sitting down. Carl, this is the preliminary results. Of course, they'll be checked on through. But it looks like you've won for Team Night and Day by 5 points ahead of Team Cycling Hub. I mean, what? How do you feel?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we were a bit devastated in the night and morning team because Jeff was trying a new setup. He was not as his usual setup, so I think it was on bad Wi-Fi and had some lag. So yeah, we will more physical, non-physical, more tactics together for next week. But yeah, I was glad I could almost do it single-handedly then. Yeah, we're happy about that.
Now, next week, I assume you guys will try and make it a tiny bit easier on yourselves and not try and go out and win every single race. But Carl, congratulations, preliminary $30. Of course, this is pending official results, so all of this will go through the right checks and balances. Second place preliminary, Team Cycling Hub, Tim Fulford, Quinton Molinez by 1.5 points, Tim. I mean, you could not get closer at the top today. Well, you might be muted on your side, Tim.
Sorry, yeah, I was. Yeah, super close, super close, super hard racing. Carl was unbeatable. I mean, if you can win 3 hard races like that back to back, beating keyboards, then you're on a very good day. So fair play to him. And if Jeff had been up there, they'd beat us even more. So not a lot we could do about it. Good battle with Glenn and Quinton and me riding with Timothy. So we would have won it if I didn't plow into my colleague on the first lap of the last race. So I'm seeing him this weekend. There may be some words shared, but great racing, super tough hour workout. I think it's Swedish meatballs for dinner. So
That is incredible, just at the top. Well, Tim and Quinton, second place. Congratulations, preliminary, of course. Still pending official review. But Timothy, Hive Hornets, you lost it on the last one. The last race, you guys lost it. You came down to third, 1.5 points behind Cycling Hub, 5.9 points behind. What went wrong towards the end?
Behind. Because we start basically the racing with -10 points because we're not matching kits. So yeah, going into the third race, you said we were up by 13.5 points, so we were up by 3.5, and yeah, we blew it at the end. So yeah, it's all practice. Well, I mean, the league started, but it's the first time really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few races. The races, like, I feel like they raced exactly as I thought they were going to be raced. Like, a little bit of teammate, but not really that much. Like, not the Derny like we see on the track. So, yeah.
Are you happy with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Derny races on the track, but it would be so hard to do this on Cade. Like, I feel it's possible, but it would be totally different racing and way more rules and stuff in place. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's going now.
I was going to say, I think we probably couldn't do much better exciting races because you had more riders, more scenarios. Thank you, Timothy and Glenn. You spiced up the racing. Now in fourth, we have our man who finally tuned in the music at the end. We had the man, the myth, the cycling legend. The Cogmasters look to be preliminary in fourth. We'll get a word with Sebastian Kuhn because Sebastian, fourth place at the end. That's still $10 shared between you and Seb. Did you get the full music? So you and Homer, did you get the music on in the end? I mean, did you get the hang of it?
The last course was good for keyboard racing. The other courses, I have no idea how I keep up with the physical riders. So it's cruising around at the end of the field. But the last one I liked. You have to change lines quick, and the acceleration does not matter that because the keyboard rider rides at 40, 41, 42 all the time.
Now, I couldn't imagine you when I first met you on a keyboard. What was it like to be riding non-physical today?
It's very unusual for me. My legs were moving all the time. I wanted to get in the pedals, but it's a different experience and it's a rest day for me, so that's fine.
Well, it works out. Seb and Homer, congratulations on the preliminary fourth. Last but not least, rounding up the top 5, taking home $5 as a preliminary stands, is Haas and Skillpelden from Velocity. We've got Vibeke, I believe, still in the broadcast. Vibeke, first round up. Looked like you and Peter got some ironing out with strategies. What was your viewpoint of the racing today?
It was great fun. I think I need to figure out how I can be as of a help as a Derny rider and how we can work together. I'm not sure how we can do that the best way, but we'll be talking about that the next couple of days and figuring out how we best can work together as a team. It was great fun. Right now I'm freezing my butt off because it's pretty cold here in the room where I sit, so next time I might wear a big jacket or something.
Have you ever thought about moving the setup when you're non-physical? Because you don't require a lot of space when you're just riding on a keyboard.
No, but my computer is a desktop computer, not a laptop. And I think my husband would appreciate me being up here and not down in the living room while he's watching TV.
Well, he could be watching this instead, but to each their own. He is Danish, so we're going to let him be because they're the greatest people in the world. Vibeke, thanks for being on the broadcast today. Thanks for being part of the racing. And everybody else who streamed in, raced, watched on the broadcast. That's it for the Derny Cup, of course. Stay tuned on our social media channels for the official result after they've gone through the right checks and balances. On Saturday, we'll be back with the CVRcade World Cup. This time, team racing, it kicks off. Who's going to win Season 2 of the CVRcade World Cup? Has this made you excited? Well, make sure to click the follow button because we're live again on Saturday, same time. But until then, we'll see you. But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.